womentalk.com.
This is Dottie Laster, the host of Trafficked, an hour-long discussion about human trafficking in the United States. Join me as we meet guests from around the world and locally who are combating the fastest-growing crime in the world. Join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Hear Women Talk Radio.
When you're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, home of Zeus Broadcast Network and Hear Women Talk, there's a wonderful adventure that you should try. Carolina Safari Jeep Tours.
Go to www.carolinasafari.com and check out Carolina Safari. Mention Hear Women Talk and get a discount from Carolina Safari Jeep Tours.
See another side of Myrtle Beach. Get wild with wildlife. Explore history, nature, and mystery on a Carolina Safari Jeep Tour.
Have you been scammed on Facebook? Do you know someone who has? Well, it's rampant. And Thursday on Vicki Child's show, PI Answers, Vicki, together with a computer forensics expert, exposes a band of thugs who have been masquerading as a U.S. general and scamming women around the world out of thousands of dollars. You'll hear from real victims in Asia, Europe, and the U.S. Don't miss this special event when Vicki blows the whistle on the latest internet trickery. That's Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Hear Women Talk Radio.
Hello, race fans. This is Jeff Gilder, creator of RacersReunion.com. When you're in Myrtle Beach, check out my favorite, the Caravel Resort. The Caravel Resort has a golf department and concierge with golf privileges at virtually every course on the Grand Strand, including the coveted Dunes Club.
And ladies, pamper yourself with Caravel's Studio Spa, featuring services such as Swedish massage, heated stone therapy, reflexology, manicures, pedicures, facials, and more. Awaken your senses with the most requested massage and spa therapies.
The Caravel Resort, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 800-507-9145. Get the best rate on the Grand Strand when you use promo code RACERS at thecaravel.com. 800-507-9145.
Hi, this is Judy Collins from Judy's House of Oldies, and you're listening to Hear Women Talk Radio on the Zeus Radio Network.
Police psychics. Find me.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Kelly Snyder with Valerie Graham, and our guest today is Peggy Rometo. We do have a caller, and before we get back to Peggy real quickly, I would like to speak to the caller that's coming in.
We do have Laura.
Lori, I think.
Lori, from Bellingham, Washington, to talk with us. Thank you for calling, Lori.
You're welcome.
Tell me a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish here, Lori. Who's missing, and if you could, you don't have to give me the name because I'm going to direct you a little bit as to how to get that information to me. But before we go too much further, if you would, please write down www.findme2.com, which is our website for the group, and you would go to the form that requests for contact, and then you can provide that information to me. But I am interested, Lori, what is this individual missing, and from what city, what state, and when did he go missing?
Well, I probably should have read the posting more carefully, but
well, is it a college student that's missing?
I'm not sure exactly.
Well, I think I know where you're headed with this. When we were on break, we talked a little bit, and I think the individual that you're referring to is a Dwight Clark or
Taylor.
I just don't. I don't have. Well, it's not Taylor. I'm pretty sure it's not Taylor. But anyway, it's with the college that's nearby. He went missing 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, and it was a case that we were contacted on, so we are looking into it. As a matter of fact, Shelley Hale, who was on the show last week, is actually on top of it and actually went to Bellingham a couple days ago. So yeah, we're looking at it, and but if it's not what I'm talking about, I do want you to go to the website and give me that information. But I do appreciate you calling in, Lori.
Yeah, that's www.findme2.com.
Yes,
Correct.
it is.
And I appreciate your call. Thank you so much, and we'll look into that once I get your email. Thanks for calling in, Lori. Anyway, back to you, Peggy. Valerie,
Yeah.
Yes.
you were going to mention something about the 72 or maybe it's 82 different things that Peggy does.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I mean,
well,
holy moly, you know.
not only that, and then a little later,
18-page document.
A little later, we were going to talk a little bit about some very interesting ideas and concepts that Peggy has. Peggy made a career as an intuitive healer, a teacher, a psychic medium, a mentor, a consultant, and an author with a new book coming out. And you are internationally known for your clarity, authenticity, and accuracy. And you've done a lot of life transforming. And Deepak Chopra said about you, Peggy, that you have an extraordinary intuitive ability that could prove to be a useful resource for many. And you have helped, of course, as a member of Find Me, and in so many wonderful ways, helping so many people, both in business and in personal life, to reach the most of their potential, which is one of the highest callings, I think, that one can do. How did you start out in this?
Well, you know, it's not like you grow up and say, what do you want to be? And you raise your hand and say, I want to be a psychic. You know, that's not quite how it worked, at least for me. You know, I was raised Catholic, and I was always very sensitive as a child. And I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and big family, 5 brothers and a sister. And my sister got married when I was young. I was like 11. And all through kind of my years, I had feelings where someone could enter the room and feel me, or, you know, feel my feet. You know, I could feel things coming and going. The end of my bed, you know, like somebody was sitting on the bed, but I'd open my eyes and I wouldn't see anybody there, but I'd feel the indentation of the bed go down. And the very, very first experience, I know somebody wrote in and asked about this, and the very first psychic experience I had, I was 6 years old, and my grandmother had passed away, and I walked out of my bedroom, and there she stood in her Sunday best, in her suit with a little pillbox hat and the little netting and the white gloves. You know, I'm dating myself here. And I heard her in my mind say, hello, Peggy. And I was so shocked and happy, and I said hello back, and then she faded away. And after she faded away, I felt like I could walk and kind of, you know, didn't want to walk through her, so I leaned against the wall and kind of shimmied by her and ran downstairs and told my entire family, I just saw Grandma. And of course, you know, they all made fun of me and didn't believe me. And about a year later, I needed glasses. So I was the only kid, you know, in my family who had glasses because I actually believed and manifested I didn't see her. And so consequently, all the other childhood experiences I had were all feeling sensitive. Now, I couldn't see spirits anymore. I could only feel them, and which to me was actually so much scarier because before, at least I knew that was Grandma. Now, you know, these energies are coming into my room. I have no idea who or what, and when you're raised Catholic, back in those days, you know, there was so much talk about the devil and everything, and, you know, none of us were worthy, so it was always something really scary in my mind that was in my room. And, of course, you know, I really believe that like energy attracts like energy. So all this fear would manifest more poltergeist energies that would really just torment me, you know, rip the covers off of me in the middle of the night, you know, icy cold fingertips on the back of my neck. And I literally slept with the light on until I was 30. I mean, I was just always terrified. And, you know, it wasn't pretty. And then I went through a stage where I had lots of deja vu and lots of dreams, premonitions. And they were, you know, they were okay. They were like fun things. Like, you know, I'd dream about a boy asking me out, and the next day he'd ask me out. Or, you know, a boy would give me flowers, and then 15 minutes later, the guy pulls up and is bringing flowers to my office. All these kind of harmless things. But then when I was 24, I had a dream that my brother would be killed. And 2 weeks later, he was killed in a car accident. And then, of course, I wanted nothing, again, to do with anything around this or conversation. And looking back, I completely understand why I had that dream. It was really, I was just being asked to pick up the phone and say hello to him. And to have another memory, because we lived really far away. By that time, I was living in Florida by myself, and he was in Iowa. And it was back long before cell phones were around. So it was, when I was counting my pennies and to make a long-distance phone call, I was raised so frugally that you didn't do that sort of thing unless you really had a reason. So to pick up the phone and just say, hey, how are you, for no reason was really sort of out of our nature. So I didn't do it, and I understand, why I had that dream. And now I've sort of maneuvered it into... Well, there was one other big thing that happened after that brother passed. I had another brother that was killed, and that was about 10 years later. And when that second brother was killed, it crushed me. I did not see it coming. I was married, 3 kids. My children were 7, 4, and 3 months old. I was working full-time in the real estate business with my husband. And I had, when my head hit the pillow, there was no dreams coming in. And when he was killed, it was such a devastating blow that I really just begged and begged and begged to be able to say goodbye to him, because I didn't say goodbye to my other brother. And in that process of begging and asking to connect, I had 3 of the most amazing days of my life of being able to connect with my brothers, see my brothers, talk to my brothers. They returned things to me. They told me that we're fine missing things. It was just this amazing unfolding that happened, and it brought so much peace and healing to my immediate family that they didn't understand it, and they were a little afraid of it, mainly because the last brother who was killed heard voices, and not in a good way. He was actually on medication and was diagnosed. They didn't know if he was schizophrenic or what, and they finally diagnosed him as a manic depressive. And my father's sister was institutionalized for years because she heard voices. And so when I'm starting to hear voices, they don't know which way to go. And but thank God for my husband, because he just has this strong gut instinct. So you people out there who say you see nothing or hear nothing or feel nothing, that's fine, but you still are connected through your gut. And those gut instincts, my husband said to me, you know what, you are so okay. And this is just that whole spiritual connection that I've been looking for, and here you found it. And so he really made me feel safe, and he really gave me permission to explore it, and actually pushed me to explore it, because he said to me, listen, your first brother died, then your second brother died, and you shut it off. He said, I'm not going to be the third guy here who's going down because you're not paying attention to what God wants to tell you. So it was a little self-preservation, as he would tell the story.
Hey, Peggy, I wanted to... Yeah. Let me interrupt you for just a second. We're going to take a break here a little bit, but I wanted to hit on that you just brought out about your brothers and you could communicate with them.
Yes.
When we come back from the break, I'd like you to tell me. I'm curious, because even though I had heard this story a long time ago when we were talking, I'm wondering, is part of your information you're getting, do you think maybe that's coming from your brothers that are out there trying to help you in the afterlife, number one? Number two, this energy that we talked about in the Lombardi case when we were doing that experiment a couple months back, I still want to come back to that, because it was so significant, and you and I both know, because we were both there, the impact it had on me and you and everyone that was there, taking notes on the experiment. So with that said, let's take a break, and
we will be right back.
Be right back with Hear Women Talk and Peggy Rometo. See you in a little bit.
This is Paul Truelove on Zeus Radio Network for HearWomenTalk.com.
This is Dottie Laster, the host of Trafficked, an hour-long discussion about human trafficking in the United States. Join me as we meet guests from around the world and locally who are combating the fastest-growing crime in the world. Join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Hear Women Talk Radio.
Have you always wanted to read